Bill Maher has finally understood the problem.
The Democratic Socialists talk about socialism like we don't already have a lot. How can you be soaking the rich and failing the poor so badly?
In a recent segment, Bill admitted the government is terrible at allocating resources efficiently, and he tore into the far left for constantly demanding more government while ignoring this basic reality. And today, we're breaking it all down. So, if you enjoy content that cuts through the noise, hit that subscribe button and let's jump right into it.
And finally, new rule, someone has to explain the American economy to me. I know I've said this before, I still don't get it. Last week was tax day, and as usual, because HBO is so generous, and I'm sure so will be the new owners, I paid to the government, if you add in state tax, local, sales, property, fees, Obamacare, probably almost 60% of what I earn. That's a lot, and I still wouldn't mind if Bernie Sanders would stop saying the rich don't pay taxes. And while I'm sure the super rich with their army of accountants and corporate loopholes get away with murder, us regular rich people pay a of taxes. And who stands up and gives us a pat on the back? Nobody, that's who.
We'll get to the numbers in a second, because Bill left no stone unturned in this segment. But there's also something bigger worth pointing out first. At this stage, it honestly doesn't matter who's in office, because the ultra-rich, the same people funding politicians from both sides, always end up playing by a completely different set of rules. Every election cycle, we hear endless talk about tax loopholes, unfair advantages, yet nothing ever changes. Another thing becoming impossible to ignore is that we don't really have a tax problem. We have an issue of how that money is managed. Just take a look.
The top 10% pay 72% of all federal income taxes, and the bottom half, 3%. The Democratic Socialists talk about socialism like we don't already have a lot. Social Security, unemployment, Medicare, nutritional assistance, Medicaid, Obamacare, disability, housing subsidies. Again, not against it, just the same question. How can you be soaking the rich and failing the poor so badly? So badly that on 60 Minutes last week, they were redoing the story they did 18 years ago about remote area medical. That is the program modeled after medical teams that drop into the poorest countries in the world for a few days to set up a tent where people with no access to health care can get some. And now we're one of those countries. Doctors within borders. How can it be that the federal government alone took in over $5 trillion in taxes last year, and we still need that? Are we really this incompetent and corrupt? Don't answer that.
Exactly. At this point, you could raise taxes to 100% and the core problem would still be there. Why? Because government bureaucracies are experts at one thing: protecting and expanding the budgets of their own agencies. Then you add the massive amount of money lost through improper payments and waste, and you get the system that we're currently trapped in. This isn't just an American problem either. Governments all over the world deal with the same bloated systems and endless inefficiency. Bill then shifted to another issue we're currently dealing with, and I think he made some valid points.
Whatever it is, somehow the ultra-rich keep getting ultra-richer, while a growing percentage is feeling truly desperate. You just wouldn't know it because everyone on TV is rich. Reality TV, rich women day drinking. Drama, rich women whose friend got murdered. Comedy, rich men shouting into cell phones. But these are the people with all the money. Get this, the richest 1/10 now does half of all the spending. Somehow we created an economy where the number of households worth $20 million or more is 644,000. Wow, that's a lot of people with $20 million, and all of them are looking for a girlfriend on sugarbabies.com. Disneyland for a family of 4 to spend the weekend. Between the cost of the tickets, plus lodging, airfare, rental cars, souvenirs, food, we're talking 10 grand To afford that, the average dad would have to be cooking meth on the side.
That 644,000 figure could mean a different thing, and I'm going to tell you more about it right after this quick message from today's sponsor. Recently, President Trump signed an executive order declaring it critical for national security that the United States rapidly increase domestic mineral production. The reasoning is straightforward. Our defense system, infrastructure, and advanced technologies all depend on minerals that are still heavily sourced from hostile foreign powers. Take titanium, for example. It's essential for F-35 fighter jets, naval destroyers, and advanced radar systems, while China currently controls 60% of the global supply chain. The White House has made its position clear. The U.S. needs a secure and reliable domestic titanium source. That's where Saga Metals enters the picture. Trading as SAGMF in the U.S. and Saga in Canada, through its radar titanium project in Labrador, the company is advancing what could become a major strategic asset for North America. Recent drilling delivered the strongest results in Saga's history, including exceptionally high-grade titanium zones that are rarely encountered at this scale. And the momentum, it just keeps building. Saga recently secured $10 million in financing dedicated entirely to drilling, giving the company strong support to expand exploration. They also strengthened their position by acquiring another titanium asset in the same district as the world's largest titanium mine. Interestingly, they secured that ground while Rio Tinto, one of the biggest mining companies on the planet, was actively targeting the same region. With year-round drilling, strong financing, major results, and rising government focus on domestic supply chains, Saga sits in a powerful position. So, if you want to learn more about them, click the link in the description, because this story is gaining serious traction. Okay, so the numbers Bill brought up come from a New York Times article, but the same piece also pointed out that the number of households in that same net worth category was around 88,000 back in 1992. Now sure, you can look at that and argue the wealth gap is growing. I get it. But the other side is the fact that far more people are managing to capitalize on the opportunities that our great country provides, because that's more than a 7-fold increase.
In 1992, a Lego speedboat toy set cost $299. Today, Lego sells Titanic for $680. It's an educational toy because you learn it sucks to be poor. And nowhere is that more true than when it comes to healthcare. Money can't buy happiness, but it sure can buy healthiness. Half the country can buy access to concierge doctors, specialists, new treatments, personal trainers, nutritionists, private chefs, and whatever Gwyneth Paltrow is putting in her vagina. And the other half has the place I was just talking about, remote area medical, the pop-up healthcare clinic that rolls into town once a year like a county fair, except instead of riding the tilt-a-whirl, a volunteer doctor pulls your infected tooth.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there is no debate that the healthcare system is broken. It is. And there are plenty of reasons behind it. You've got greed from providers, insurance companies squeezing every dollar they can, and do not get me started on Big Pharma. Everyone has their hand in the pot. But after laying all of that out, Bill somehow wrapped things up with a conclusion that, to me, kind of felt completely disconnected from the actual problem.
And the saddest thing in the 60 Minutes piece is that nothing has changed since they covered it in 2008. Same line of cars parked overnight so people make sure to get seen. Same people who work 2 jobs but still can't afford to see a doctor unless a touring nonprofit sets up shop in a parking lot. But here's the truth. You're not going to get health care to these people by threatening to tax and eat the rich. You raise billionaires' taxes, they just leave the state. Or they leave the country. Or in some cases, the planet. I kid Elon, but he had a good idea recently that might be apropos here. During the recent government shutdown, he volunteered to pay all the TSA workers himself, with couch money. That's how super rich our super rich are. They can single-handedly fund entire government programs. Okay, so let's make that a thing. The Adopt a Cause Challenge for billionaires. Teachers who buy school supplies with their own money, or people without homes, or disaster victims, whatever it is, make the rich competitive about solving it, because that's all they care about anyway, beating each other.
Again, this really isn't a taxation problem. It's how the money gets managed once the government has it. It's also funny how those who call out the ultra-rich always aim their anger at those above their own wealth bracket. Bill likes framing himself as regular rich. I mean, maybe that's true, but come on. The guy is worth over $100 million. So, if he feels this strongly about it, why not lead by example, fund a program himself, and show people how it should actually be done?